Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another Saturday Night Live. This is our Saturday night hangout show and the first live show I've done in just a little bit because I just got back from San Diego Comic-Con. I am joined by our good friend, Mr. Jeff Morris tonight. How's it going, Jeff?
Hey, I'm good. Hope everybody's well. Hope everybody's staying cool. Nobody's sweating to death.
I was just going to say, we were just talking about that before the show, and I was saying it was 109 here yesterday in Kansas, where I am, and it sounds like you were just as hot.
Yeah, the South is hot.
Yeah, just brutal. I mean, it was even hot in San Diego. Like it was, they said it was like the hottest it had been. It's unseasonably hot. And, that area is pretty consistently like 70, 75. But it was a really hot 80 something or 90 something when I was there. And it was hot. But it was fun. It was still fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. Jeff Delaney might be joining us tonight as well. We might do a little SDCC recap. I know he was on the beach, so I don't know if he's rushing home. He made a post earlier where he's on the beach, so who knows if he'll show up? We'll see. But I want to thank Jeff for being here as well. And again, this is just kind of a hangout show. This is where you guys drive the show. It's one of those type of shows. And of course, Wednesday. I do apologize for missing Wednesday's Rogues Gallery. Had major travel issues. On Wednesday, we were supposed to fly home, and we got there was mechanical issues on one of the planes or something, and so it set everything else back. No, I'm sorry. That was the next day. The first day, it was weather in Denver, and it was really strange because they said that there were these severe storms in Denver. So, of course, everybody checked their their apps on their phone. And there was like this little teeny tiny thunderstorm way north of Denver. And I'm like, well, there's no big weather. It's just like a little rain cloud. But anyway, that grounded all of Denver. So we actually got bumped to the next day. Look at that. Boom. Speaking of Beach Boy right there he is right there, Mr. Jeff Delaney from Secret Sanctuary.
How's it going, boys?
We're doing okay. We were just talking about how, you posted that photo of the beach. And so it's like I feel very honored that you would choose us over the beach today.
Hey, that's okay.
How's the weather there? It's like we were just talking about. Like I got back to Kansas, it's 109.
It's about 80 here today.
So still a little warmer, right, for this time of year?
Yeah. So all the folks from inland, like Riverside County, they're all coming to the beach to cool down a little bit because they got 110 out there.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Well, we were just talking about how my travel where I got bumped to, we got an extra day at Disneyland, which is, a great problem to have. So that was nice. And then we got 2 or 3 delays on Thursday. I was telling Jeff the most turbulent ride I've ever had in my life from Phoenix. We touched down in Phoenix and we literally, they were so far behind in Anaheim that by the time we got to Phoenix, we had a 30-second layover. So we literally went across the terminal. Thank God it was across the terminal. And it was us, and there were a bunch of airline attendants that also were going to get on that plane. So it was our family. We all got separated, of course. We all had to sit separate. And luckily I had an aisle seat because I get a little claustrophobic. Yeah. But I found I had one aisle seat, and then it was the airline people there as well. But it was the most turbulent flight I've ever had in my entire life. Flying into Denver. So that was, nerve wracking. And then finally we got another delay, and then it was into Wichita, and we got home at midnight. So it was a very long travel day. Hopefully your travel went back home went a little bit better than ours did.
It was pretty easy. Yeah. Not too bad.
But like I said, we got to spend extra time in Disneyland. So that was, obviously a great problem to have. Man, we had a great time. Have you been recently? It's been a couple weeks or 2 or 3 weeks, I think.
It's been about a month. But we've got a couple of days coming up. I think we're going on the 11th of August, and I might sneak in one day next Tuesday is my birthday. So I might go have breakfast at Disneyland, even if I go by myself, just for the heck of it, just because it's my birthday, damn it.
I hear they have some good chimichangas, like breakfast chimichangas.
They do.
Mm-hmm. I never got one.
There's a cart right over by Thunder Mountain, whatever it's called.
Yep, that's the one.
They're very tasty.
That's the one. I've heard they're very, very good. Well, we had a free breakfast with our hotel, so we grabbed that one morning, and then one morning we kind of skipped it because of the schedule. But anyway, it was a lot of fun. So happy birthday early.
Thank you. Yeah.
So like I said, this is everybody's show here tonight. You guys are driving the show, but also I wanted to kind of do a recap with Jeff about San Diego Comic-Con, and let me say hello to everybody real quick. We got Lane Kramer in the house. Let's get all excited for Chris and the Statue Hangout. Thank you very much, Lane, for being here. We got Mike Stainbrook in the house. Hey, Chris can't make it tonight. I have company. Oh, you can't make it. Oh, well, I'm sorry. Well, thanks for chiming in anyway, Mike. Punisher's here. We got Board Cube 1 or 2. I'm unboxing the Tweeterhead Joker quarter scale as I watch. That's awesome. That's awesome. I did talk to our good friend Brad. He was having some trouble with getting his replacement parts from that 1/4 scale from Tweeterhead. It sounds like most of Sideshow has got that replacement, or at least they're being shipped. But if you order directly from Tweeterhead and you haven't heard from them yet, message Chad. Let him know. He might be a little slow to respond because he is their only customer service pretty much at the moment. But I reached out to Chad on Brad's behalf, and they were able to fix it. So again, if you order directly, make sure you can hit me up. I'll try to help, or you can hit up Chad, and hopefully he'll be able to get those pieces sent out to you if you did order the quarter scale. Let's see. We got Den in the house. Good evening to you. We got George Moss in the house. Let's see. Let me skip around a little bit. Superman. How about that Sideshow new Ghost Rider? Beautiful piece. Steep price for a half motorcycle. Yeah, we'll talk about it on Rogues, I'm sure. But what do you guys think of that price point on that thing?
I think Sideshow had two pretty big missteps in a short period with that Star Wars Crystal line, and then pricing on this Ghost Rider. I think both are pretty big fails.
How much was the Batman on Batbike? Do you remember? Was that like $900?
$995.
So do you feel like that's fair? More fair? I think that's more fair.
Yeah, I mean, it's $105 less, but you get the whole bike with a light-up feature.
That's true. I don't know. I was kind of surprised. I thought it would be more like 900-ish.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I actually didn't see much about the Star Wars stuff. Was it just those white ones?
Yes. So it's an artist who has had great success with that style using everyday objects, not with an IP. So like he's made multi-millions off of artwork using that style of artifacts, found 1,000 years later, but it might be a toaster or something like that. So in the art world, he's made $1 gazillion doing that, and now they're bringing it into an IP, Star Wars, and I don't think anybody cares at all. I think to most people, it looks like an unfinished product, like someone printed it out on their 3D printer and didn't do anything else with it.
I was going to say, I was so busy at the con, I feel like I kind of missed a lot of those, at least the videos. I saw some photos, obviously, but I think we talked about it there. It's like it felt like it was just a prototype.
Well, I think it feels like a pet project to me. I mean, the president of Sideshow, who you never hear from, sent out an all users email promoting this thing. And so I feel like maybe it's his pet project or something.
You know what that means? They spent a lot of money on it.
Yeah, well, I would think so.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's connecting with collectors at all.
It was a letdown when I read that email, and then when I saw it, I was like,
Yeah.
It reminded me of those, people used to go do those pottery classes and paint.
Yep.
That's what it made me think of.
Yep.
Those things that you got in that class and everybody got to paint it.
It didn't make you think of $700?
Oh, that's what I was just going to ask. Is that the price point?
For each of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they're just unpainted.
No.
Well, they're white. I don't know if they're painted or not, but they look unpainted. They look unfinished.
My Bat Bunker is also white and unpainted.
Well, I mean, I don't want to make the mistake. Some people call like the Masterpiece series from Queen Studios unpainted. It's not. It's painted.
Oh, yeah, it's awesome.
So I don't know whether these are painted or not, but they're solid white. They give the appearance of being unfinished.
But those Queen Studios ones, like they look like marble. They look like, the Masters works, and that's what I could see why maybe not everybody loved those, but I thought they were really awesome for what they were.
Oh, it's an awesome line for sure. But
Yeah.
I only bring it up because some people have said, yeah, it's a great price on those, but they're not even painted. Well, yeah, they're painted. I mean, of course they are.
Well, it translated though, whereas this,
right,
when they were, like having this Emperor's New Clothes little piece about it, it was like an outline of 3PO head and shoulders, and it was, and they're, maybe if they had a better camera that you could see if there were details on it, but it just looked like a pillar of salt.
Right.
Were they on display also at Sideshow Con?
I suspect they were. I have not watched Sideshow Con because I was too busy experiencing the con.
Yes.
To watch their videos, which I'll probably get to those eventually.
And that's the same. So I've let some people know that I was, for the very first time, I was invited to Sideshow Con. I let you guys know, and I was very, very excited about it. I felt like it was a very big honor. But because I'd already made plans, like they let me know so late that our family was already flying to San Diego. It was preview night. I didn't want to miss that. I was excited to hang out with you, which we didn't even end up doing because we missed each other because of, was that the hotel night? Was that I can't remember that. Yeah, that was
probably,
where you guys were staying. And so we missed each other that first night, but I'm so glad that, I was still there for that evening, and I didn't miss any of that because it was awesome. I met Tony Baxter, which I was very excited about. That was definitely a highlight for me. But it was an honor to be invited to Sideshow, so it would have been really neat to be able to be in their studio and be able to, film some of that stuff and see some of that stuff firsthand. But and from what I saw, that was actually a pretty good show. I mean, they had a lot of like DC stuff on display. The new Batman, which is really cool, that Gotham by Gaslight.
Yeah.
Which I really do like. I do worry a little bit about the height of it. I feel like it's going to be it's just kind of low. But they also had Penguin on display. So it would have been neat to see some of those pieces, especially like the Infinity Studios Batman, which I wasn't really all that impressed with videos and photos that I saw of that one. But anyway, I think that Sideshow Con was better than I was expecting it to be, but it still would have been way cooler to be at the event. But like, we were there, we hung out quite a bit, and hey, I'm so thankful for our time. So I just want to thank you for that. That was awesome. Had a great time.
It was super fun. We had a great time.
Super
so did
fun.
William. My kid had a great time too.
William was great. And I forgot to mention him on my recap video. So I just want to say hello to Will as well. That was so awesome to be able to.
On another show called him Jeff Jr. I thought that was really funny.
Is that what you did, Jeff Jr.? He's such a cool kid. So you've done very well, sir.
Thank you.
But anyway, did you miss that booth? Like, I think that going into the con, especially like, a few months ago when we found out the Sideshow wasn't going to be there, I think we were all like super, super disappointed. Yeah. And then we found out, well, Tweeterhead's not going to be there. Queen Studios isn't going to be there. It just like the dominoes kept falling. And I kind of thought there for a while that it was just going to be a dud of a show. So much to the fact that like our family was kind of like, once we figured out like, the Tweeterhead wasn't going to display, our whole family was going to go to the event, and then we found out that we could only get the one badge. And so we were trying to figure out if we should just cancel the whole vacation, like if we shouldn't even bother this year. It's a lot of money to fly out and spend money on hotels and food and everything else. Uber, I spent a ton on Ubers. But then whenever you actually get to the con, I was just curious as to what you felt. Like, did you feel like that presence was massively missed?
So on the one hand, yes. For the last several years, Sideshow has been my home base at the convention.
Yeah.
I've got nowhere to go. I go over to Sideshow. It's where I'm more likely to bump into other collectors and have good conversations. It's where I might meet an artist or a project manager on a particular piece at Sideshow and have good conversations. And of course, filming the pieces. So it's really, really fun. So yeah, they were missed, but there was more there than I expected. ECC had a really good booth. PCS became kind of my home base this year. They had a really good booth. We didn't expect Fairy Tale Fantasies to have their own booth, and they did. We didn't expect Blitzway to be there, and they were. So there was more there for statue collectors than I expected. And, it's funny. There were a lot of articles before the convention that Hollywood's not going to be in San Diego. Oh my God, the convention's going to die. And I thought about it afterwards because, and maybe it's not this way with every convention. I don't know. I only have really familiarity with San Diego, but there's a culture to that convention where, and you feel there's an online presence for it all year long leading up to it, where you've got 125,000 people who are showing up to a place where they can wear whatever they want. They can be whoever they want to be. And they're not there for Hollywood. They're there for that community where everyone's there's 125,000 people in that hall, and everyone's incredibly polite because everybody wants to be there. And so it made no difference to me that Hollywood wasn't there. And it made little difference to me in the end that Sideshow wasn't there, because I still had that experience with that group of fans that are just fanatic because they're fans.
Right.
And everyone was just having a great time. And I can't wait to go back next year.
I always feel like, most. Oh, go ahead, Jeff. Sorry.
I think Sideshow really did a big disservice, because I think the big thing that sells with them going to that con is everybody's videos of the stuff, because your all's videos are like infinitely better than what they do. And it shows you, yeah, I think I might want that. And you can't tell that from their videos. You never can. Right. When they show that in that studio, it's so, the lighting or the quality or whatever it is, I don't know, it's not the same, and you just don't get the feel of it. And I didn't see a thing the only thing that I thought that even tempted me was that green poison ivy. And then it sold out, and I'm like, I don't have to worry about it.
Right.
Yeah. No, I think there's something to that. I think there's something to seeing videos by fellow collectors rather than employees of Sideshow, where you get, I think, a more honest opinion of a piece, I mean, if they had been at the show and those Star Wars crystal pieces had been there, I probably would not have said very many favorable things about them. But if the poison ivy was there or a few others, I would have had very positive things, I think, to say. I think that poison ivy is a great piece. Another Harbottle, really, really well done piece. And I like both versions. And I think it would have benefited them to have our take on that piece as well as some of the others. But they made a decision. I think they also made a mistake because since Hollywood wasn't there, the huge crowds in Hall H and Ballroom 20 weren't there either. And all those folks were on the convention floor.
That's what we were talking about before the show. It's like, I felt like it was super, to me, it felt even busier than last year. And I don't know if it was. At times there was some space here and there. But overall it was like, shoulder to shoulder, you're bumping into everybody. You're just trying to find a spot to move forward.
I think it had to be.
Yeah. And that was what we said, is like all of those people that were normally in all those halls, they weren't there in those halls this year. So where were they? They were on the floor.
People were walking into Hall H. That hasn't happened in 10 years. Usually it's you sleep overnight to get into that place.
Yeah, there was no major line out in the back like we saw last year. And you brought up it's like, I know that Sideshow, when they do Sideshow Con, and they are there to sell their product. It is a commercial for them. Yep. And really what we do when we do booth tours and things, it is also a commercial for them. It is showing off their product. But at the same time, like you said, it's like we can give our constructive feedback. It's like, well, maybe you might not have said a ton of nice things about the Star Wars stuff, but you just wouldn't have spent a lot of time on it.
Right.
Whereas the pieces you like, we did that a lot last year, where we did individual, we did like an individual Prime 1 piece. We did an individual video on that, or an individual thing on the Hot Toys or whatever. And so there were a ton of people. Once again, there were 1 million people at that Iron Studios booth. There were 1 million people at that PCS booth, especially going in and out. And
what was a few years ago, it didn't happen so much this year, but a few years ago, I remember there were days in San Diego where collectors on Facebook or on Statue Forum would just pepper me with questions while I was on the convention floor. Hey, can you go take a few pictures of that Catwoman statue from the backside or from the side, or whatever? And I was going all over the convention floor to different booths, just taking pictures of people and then posting them right away and they were getting their answers like within 5 minutes. And it was really,
Yeah.
really fun. And it was all just free advertising for those companies that
Yeah.
I was
And you know,
providing.
those Star Wars things maybe look really good.
Maybe.
And there may be a lot more detail to them.
Yeah, maybe.
But they didn't show it.
Right.
So who knows?
It's just it would have been nice to have that booth. But again, I still had a great time. And it was more, I mean, I guess you could say it was more comic book based. It was more art based. This year, there were still like, Lego had a big booth, and Marvel, which I didn't really even go into the Marvel or DC booths really at all.
Either. Yeah.
I guess there were like a couple of different statues that I missed. That Batman with the big giant cape. I didn't even film that. And I want to compliment you because I was trying to like get stuff ready for Rogues next week. And I'm like, I didn't take any photos. Like I took very few photos. I was just doing videos. And so I've stole, a bunch of your photos because you took amazing photos, especially at the PCS booth. You got some really good close-ups and stuff. So, but I don't know. It was a really fun event. What was some of your favorite parts? Like, did you have highs?
That's a good question.
I guess I'll go into this. This is Fred's question. What was the best thing you've seen at Comic-Con? So like, what was your favorite parts?
I would say it's funny. And maybe you guys saw my video. I really like that Weta the Witcher that was at the Diamond booth. And I've seen people on other shows give that piece a hard time. And I don't know if it's because like in one show, they kept on saying, what happened to his face? Well, it made me wonder if they watched the show, because that piece shows him in his battle mode where his skin turns pale white and his eyes turn black, and he has a very different look to him. And I think the likeness on it is really good, and the action pose is really cool, and the dead things coming out of the base are awesome, and the price is pretty good. And so I think that piece deserves more attention than it's getting. So that was one of the highlights for me.
Do you think that that's because I feel like sometimes on video, especially like that, it was on one of Todd's podiums, which I love the podiums.
Yeah.
But it's top lit. So I sometimes think that on camera, when things are like lit from below like that, where, that it kind of washes it out sometimes on camera, which is a concern of mine. Like to get a podium like that, I don't know if I'd want a light on top. I like the light in the middle. Right. But I do kind of wonder if that's maybe why they felt that way, because in person, I agree with you. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, the lighting I thought on the Blitzway Witchers
brutal
was really brutal, and it was funny because people were saying, "Oh my God, such a downgrade from the Proto." Well, it was the Proto.
Yeah, right.
It's the same one you've seen great pictures of. It's just different lighting, and so yeah, it really does affect how photos come out.
Yeah, we discussed that while we were in the booth, while we were talking about it, how like, they play with a lot of shadow in the prototype images, those promo images, and they just wasn't there. It was just this awful lighting. Right. And I don't really know why, like it was so bad, but I don't know, but it was not great lighting. So it really made it hard to see the detail in the sculpt. And there are some photos, and maybe they were even your photos, I'm not sure, but from certain angles, it looked better to me than even, to the naked eye. Because again, the light plays with your eyes too when you're there.
Right. And there were highlights at the PCS booth. It was great to see the blade piece. I wish he had brought both, because I still don't know if I'd rather have the museum pose or the action one, but the museum pose looked really, really good. I thought it was awesome. The Storm looked really good. The detail on her costume was really, really awesome.
Way better in person than in photographs, I thought.
I'm super tempted by the RoboCop. What else? You know what? I admire what was the big piece that he brought? The Dio.
The which one?
Remember that the Spider-Man Dio that he brought? What was it called?
Oh, the
Maximum
symbiote.
Carnage.
Yeah, sorry, Carnage. Yeah.
So that's a really cool detailed piece. It's just I'm not a big fan of that whole storyline. So, but I guess he's trying to keep that at around $1,500, which seems like a good price for something with incredible amount of detail.
Great price.
He's going to do several more of those too.
Is that based on a video game, I'm assuming then?
I think it started off as a comic.
Okay. I feel like most of it.
Going on. there was so much going on that I
So
feel
much.
like you needed to see it in person.
It would have to be on something you'd put on a turntable. There's no way you could, unless you had it in the middle of a room.
Yeah, you would have to do something like that because there's too much you would hide. I mean, it's not like just hiding the backside of a statue. It is hiding a whole another third of a statue. It's like there's like 3 different parts to it, really.
Yeah.
But it was really cool. I would love to see them do more. I did ask, and I want to apologize to Ant because I was going to film a tour with him, and I was stuck in lines like all day on Friday, and so we were going to do a booth tour. So I'm glad I went ahead and filmed it because I do feel bad. But you know, I was hoping he would give us even more insight on those pieces, but I can't remember what I was going to say now.
Did you see that he announced the price on that half scale Akuma?
Did he do it today?
He did it on a stream, either today or yesterday, and it's going to be $1,657.50.
You're kidding.
Which is a pretty darn good price for a half scale, enormous piece.
Incredible price. That thing is massive. Like it is.
That's the price if you order direct through PCS.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know how he's able to do that because that thing is, would you say, I mean, like I'm like looking at my Bane up here and it was way, way bigger than that.
Yeah, it's big.
Gee, many Christmas. That's a great price.
Yeah.
So you liked some of the PCS pieces? You liked the Witcher piece? Anything else that you really enjoyed about the con?
ECC brought their 1/3 scale Abe Sapien painted this time. I saw it unpainted at Monsterpalooza, and that's a really fun piece. I like that a lot. And the Abe Sapien life-size bust is awesome too. My problem is I don't have any experience with ECC production pieces. I don't know if they come out as good as the prototype or not. So I'd have to depend on other collectors to inform me about that because I don't know. And I really don't even know their prices.
Let's see, I've never bought a piece from them. I don't think
their ET is awesome.
Yeah,
the prototype is anyway.
That was a really great booth. Again, they had some stuff last year, and that was where Queen Studios had some of their pieces. We did have a chance to meet John for the first time, so that was cool to be able to talk to him. He even showed us one of the in-art prototypes, which was really cool.
Yeah.
But obviously, they tried to get some stuff available for the show and just couldn't make it happen.
Right.
Which is a shame, but it was still very cool to see that booth and see all the big stuff that they had, because it was kind of comparable to what they had last year with all the Queen Studios life-size busts. You know, they had the it's had a really good representation. I thought it was really good.
What were your highlights?
My highlights for me, well, getting to hang out with you guys, that was a lot of fun. B, just running into Tony Baxter, like that was really cool for me. Getting the commissions from the artists was really, really fun for me. Like I said in my video, it was a little bit of a headache because I didn't realize how much chasing I would have to do. I thought I could literally just go and say, hey, I'm here for my commission that I already paid for. But I had to chase them down each day. Like they weren't ready. I still don't have my Jock one. The representative said that he was mailing it to them this weekend, and then they would mail it out to me next weekend. But I wanted to get it from him. You know, that was the downer. I was like, I wanted to get a picture with him with it. But
CC had the same issue.
Same issue. I talked to her, same type of deal. We don't even know which one's ours. He posted a bunch of photos, and so we're kind of guessing which ones might be our commission.
It was fun to meet her. She's really cool.
CC was great.
Yeah. Are you going to show us something expensive?
Yeah, I'm just going to show you the David Finch.
Yeah, that's crazy good.
For those of you that might have missed it.
Wow.
Want to give a shout out to Eric B. Also, he got a remark today, which looked really great.
I wonder how long that took him.
You know what? Really nice. I bet it took him like 20 minutes. I bet.
No.
I bet it did.
No way.
Because the crazy thing is, I know we had a whole bunch to do that morning.
Yeah.
Which, like Eric said today, like he was, 2 hours late. And that's what they told me that morning. They're like, he was supposed to be there at a certain time, so I made it a priority. The first thing I did was I filmed that Queen Studios life-size Iron Man. Then I went and met Susan, and then immediately after I met Susan, I went to get in his line, and they said he canceled the morning because he was working on commissions.
Okay.
And then found out that he actually did draw it that morning. But I feel like he knocks them out pretty quick. I mean, I feel like he's that good, but who knows?
So was Susan there promoting something?
She has like she works for like a clothing company, like some sort of clothing company. I had some more conversation with her off camera, and so I think that she would like to do something again, more with the community. So we'll see if anything pans out.
Yeah.
But she does, I mean, truly miss the community. She loves the collecting. She's still a collector. She said, she still collects all this stuff still. And
maybe she needs to be a rogue. Hey,
that would be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool. Well, I will certainly invite her. That'd be a lot of fun to have her on. It'd be very cool. So anyway, the art part of the waiting part was a little frustrating for me. But getting to meet the artists and getting to actually like watch, them being drawn live, in some cases like the Adam Hughes, that was really neat. As for statues, I think my favorite of the show for me personally was probably that Shredder from PCS. I really liked that a lot. Yeah. I talked to Ant a little bit that day about it's like, what are the chances of getting a DC license? Because I really think that could add a whole new realm for them. And he said that that's something that they are, working toward. That is something that they are wanting to do. Just a matter of if they can get the license or not. I know we had meetings that week, so who knows? But I said, could you imagine if they did, DC characters like they did with that Shredder? The level of detail the villains could be. And I didn't even see the photo you posted with the torn mask. That I don't know what day he did that. It must have been Saturday, maybe.
Either Saturday or Sunday. He switched out like 3 portraits.
So I was already gone.
So the Candyman, he did the one with the bees on the mouth. And what else? I think maybe on the turtles, he did the one with the white eyes instead of the irises.
That's cool.
Stuff like that. I was hoping he would do the alternate portrait. I think there's an alternate portrait for Blade, but he didn't show that.
Maybe they didn't bring it. Maybe I'm not sure.
Maybe.
But a lot of the PCS booth really stood out to me. There was a couple of Iron Studios pieces that I really liked. I like that Michael Keaton, even though it's only 1/10 scale. I thought that was really cool with him standing in the back.
That was really cool.
That looks neat. A lot
of people. The
RoboCop
one was pretty cool.
Yeah, the RoboCop. A lot of people really liked the He-Man one that they had. The She-Ra. I think. Yeah, that was a big piece. Really big piece.
What was really cool was the Magneto.
The Magneto was cool.
That was awesome.
And the Superman I thought was cool. The Superman versus Doomsday looked good, and it was a big piece. And I was surprised by the Batman. They took that 3rd scale and shrunk it down to 10th scale.
Right.
I think that Magneto and the Superman Doomsday have all been larger pieces.
Oh, is that right?
Superman
Doomsday
was a 1/6.
Okay.
I think that Magneto may be a really old piece.
Could be.
But that Darth Vader and the Batman have both been larger pieces. But the Doomsday and Superman look really good. I think
that isn't that Darth Vader like in the larger scale considered one of the best Darth Vaders?
Yes.
Yeah, that's really good. Isn't that the one that's on Hoth where he's walking forward? That's a great piece. Let's see. Superman says, I enjoyed watching the Alex Ross booth from your video, Chris. A lot of beautiful art there. Yeah, Jeff and I did that together, which was really great. And I'm kind of glad I didn't walk away with a piece this year because that's, again, it's just a lot of money spent.
It'd be cool if he showed up.
Gosh, that would be cool. I just don't know why he doesn't. Like, I guess he doesn't feel like he needs to at this point. But
well, he doesn't need to.
Yeah, it would be cool. The Choice Fine Art booth was fun to tour with Charles. That was nice to talk to him.
You know what? I almost bought that Wonder Woman exclusive. I stood in front of that booth with William for like 10 minutes while he was there signing them and doing remarks and everything.
Oh, so you saw that? See, I missed that completely.
I was standing right in front of the table, like literally 10. He probably was wondering what the hell I was doing, trying to decide whether to get one or not. And I finally decided not to. But that was fun.
It was $150.
I know. It was a neat print. was really cool. But I thought, where am I going to put it? And
Did you say hi to Bermejo at least?
No, I just stared at him awkwardly.
Well, I told you, like, I couldn't believe it. I was
like
leaving
a creeper.
Yeah.
Well, I was leaving the con that first night, and who do I run into? I just look up. I'm like, Lee, and he looks at me and he goes, Chris. So that was really cool. Then I got to meet him the next day or whatever day it was. Where he,
I have to hand it to you. You recognize everybody.
That is what I do. Like, I scan the crowd. I just I don't really look at the booths always. I'm just looking at people's faces.
We're walking to lunch and suddenly I hear you say, Leonard? And I'm like, who the hell is that? I turn around, there's Leonard Maltin standing there and you're talking to him. I'm like,
I know. I could, yeah. And I'm like,
That was wild.
And the crazy thing is the fact that I could come up with the name Leonard, because like I haven't probably said his name ever in my life. Out loud,
right?
And and then like I kept calling him the wrong name. I called him the wrong name in my video. I think I said Richard Maltin or something. I don't remember what I did. But anyway, yeah, I have that knack to do that for whatever reason, and I just always scan faces.
And then we were walking in the hall, and you're like, "That's the dude that's played Darth Vader in the last couple of movies." I'm like,
"Yep."
How do you know that?
I just know that he was there. I've seen him at a couple conventions before.
Yeah.
And he's tall, so he stood out. I found a couple wrestlers from AEW or WWE that took a picture with.
Right.
But it was interesting. What do you think of that new Syndicate Collectibles? Found out that they are owned by the former owner of PCS.
Yeah. I would say tread lightly. I wasn't paying attention to all that when it was happening, but from what I read, he doesn't have the best business skills. I think I can say, but I can say that the Ash from Army of Darkness was a really cool piece.
Looks good.
If you're in the market for a 1/4 scale or 1/6 scale of Jesus Christ, it was a well done piece. There were some very nice pieces at that booth.
What was in that? Because there was something that I thought that was cool.
Pumpkinhead was there, looked really good.
3 Pumpkinheads. I mean, in 3 scales.
Yeah.
And then he had a bunch of stuff, but apparently he left some folks in a lurch when he owned PCS with pre-orders that never showed up, and they never gave refunds. And so there's a lot of people angry at that guy. But
I remember it being a whole big thing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they basically went under, I mean, for the most part, and they were going to fold, right? And then Ant came in and bought the company.
Yeah.
So they do have a lot to prove. I was really impressed. I found out after the fact, after we went and did that tour, I had got a message from Ed Bradley, and Ed Bradley is a really well-known painter in the industry. He's done a lot for Sideshow and other companies. And whenever I first started the channel, he was one of the first, names that would come on the channel, and he did an interview with me, which was really cool. I kind of featured him as a featured person, and he was actually, I bumped into him just by happenstance. I was over, there was another person that did a lot of concept art, that was that used to work for Sideshow. And so I ran into him again, and right there was Ed Bradley, and I talked to him. Long story short, sorry guys, that he actually painted most of those pieces at that booth.
Oh, okay.
And he was really excited. So, knowing that they have some really good talent associated with them, obviously some good sculptors. But
can you highlight Matt's comment in the chat?
Matt, let's see. Is this one right here?
No, the one but 2 up from that.
All right. He's not a good business owner, but his work is great. I say buy it when it's in stock. Do not pre-order. I got burned for him 3 to 4K. Wow, Matt. That is awful. Sorry to hear that. Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. Like, I feel like that there's some talent there. Obviously, there's people associated with this company that are very talented. But I feel like they probably have a ton to prove.
Yeah.
And it again, whenever we were back there, I didn't realize it was a new company. I thought it was somebody else because that Pumpkinhead looked familiar. I was like, well, if somebody's done the Pumpkinhead similar to that, maybe.
PCS has a Pumpkinhead.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was. And so I just assumed it was other PCS pieces or something. So
it
the
was
fact
a
that
big booth. there was a lot of stuff there.
Big booth. I mean, it was surprising, and for a company that I hadn't heard of, and I think it was maybe, I don't know, maybe it was Dave or somebody that had mentioned some of the pieces that because I hadn't seen them yet, and so then we went set back there and we filmed a little bit, and I was impressed with what I saw. But again, I feel like they really are going to have to prove it to collectors, because we didn't know when we were there, we didn't know who was running it, or we had never even heard of the company before. Yeah. So it's always exciting when we have a new company out there and offering different things that are not so oversaturated. I mean, we don't, like we said, we don't have a ton of Jesus statues
or a ton of Golden Girls statues.
Right. I mean, so there was some, there was Kiss and some other things. Double Dragon. I mean, there was some neat video game stuff. Dragon's Lair, which I thought was really cool. Mm-hmm. Is that the name of that game? Dragon. I can't remember now. But anyway,
Dragon Ball Z.
No, it was that one with there was a video game from the 80s. It had that big dragon and the knight with the sword.
Dragon Slayer.
Yeah, okay. It was that really
an old game. It was an arcade game.
It was an arcade game, but it was so different because you would play it and it was like a cartoon. And so it had like these amazing graphics that nobody else had, because it was just like on like a laser disc or something where it would play the clips. So yeah, Dragon Slayer. So, but yeah, it was a cool booth. So I wish them well. I hope they do well. But again, I feel like they're going to have to really prove. I mean, seeing that people were screwed out of $3,000 or $4,000, that's a bitter pill to swallow, and it's would not make me trust them very much.
I was disappointed that the Top Cow booth didn't have any of the Divine Studios statues like they did last year. That was a bummer.
Yeah, we got to see Angelus last year, and I can't remember the other one.
Angelus,
Dragon Slayer,
Aphrodite 9.
Oh, that's right. Oh yeah, Dragon's Lair, not Slayer. Dragon's Lair. Okay. Yep. Thank you. So yeah, that was disappointing. But they were in the same spot.
Yeah, they've got a Witchblade coming out, but it might just be in render form at the moment.
I'm trying to think of what else stood out to me. Our meetup was fun. My only regret is I wish I had found some shade, because I got a really bad sunburn that day. Standing in the sun.
I want to respond to Statue Collecting in the chat. He says, surprised people got this wrong who were born in the 80s. I was not born in the 80s.
I was not born in the 80s either.
Not born in the 80s. I actually did play that game. One of the very few video games, but I worked next to an arcade when you had to go to an arcade to actually play games that were that good. They had funnel cakes and corn dogs.
So yeah, Statue Collecting. You do a live show and try to get stuff right all the time. It's hard. It's hard to get
Statue Collecting. No, I wasn't born in the 70s either.
No.
I was. So at least I'm a little closer to the 80s, a little bit. 76 for me, but I did play it a little bit, and I couldn't remember the game because I sucked at it. I could never get past like the first couple screens. It was so hard. Very, very difficult game. So it was.
This is why I have trouble sometimes with Masters of the Universe. I was in college when that came out, so I don't have the nostalgia for that show that younger people do.
Yeah,
because I'm super old.
Well, it's like
He-Man, Turtles, and Transformers.
Yeah, totally. That's right.
It's like whenever I was, watching Batman the Animated Series, like I was already old enough, and then so I watched it some, and then as the other shows like the X-Men or the newer Adventures of Batman and stuff, like I didn't see any of that. I didn't, I was too old at that point. So I just, sometimes we miss these things. So and the blue collars, Jeff, then win. 1977. There you go. So we're close. The blue collar collector. Me and him are very close. Just hell, that game was expensive and very. See, I'm telling you, it was a very, very hard game to play. Very, very hard. So let's see what else about San Diego.
The food was good.
Food was good. We went to a little.
Rick's.
Huh?
Rick's.
Rick's is the name. So I can't even remember what it was called, but it had like a little bit different menu because it was like, was it AMC or somebody? Who was the sponsor?
It was a Quantum Leap theme.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, but their food was massive. William had a half-pound cheeseburger, And I had a California burrito that was twice as big as it needed to be, but it was good.
I had a couple tacos. I think at one point I had 6 meals in a row that were tacos.
You mean in the sales pavilion?
Yeah.
Me and William did that one day for lunch.
No, the one we went to.
Oh, you had tacos there at Rick's.
I had tacos with you, and I had tacos at lunch the day before, or dinner, or whatever. What that was the blind burro.
Cece's comment.
When Jeff was telling me about SDCC 85, I knew to keep my mouth shut.
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Oh, poor Cece talking to the old fogies at the event.
Back in 85.
Well, back in my day, we used to have these things called comic books, and they were 12 cents a piece.
That's awesome.
All the gray hairs are starting to come out there, Jeff. I tell you, yeah, it's really funny. So, when was your first con? Do you remember?
It would have been that one. It probably would have been 85. Yeah, and I would have gone sooner, but I had no knowledge of it. I didn't know it. It had existed for 14 years at that point, but I didn't know about it.
Has it always been in San Diego?
Yeah. Started
so
off
I heard that
Cortez Hotel in San Diego.
I heard that they were, that I guess the contract ends next year, or it's like they're saying the next year could be the last year that it's there, but I can't imagine.
Those articles appear every couple of years when the contract's coming up, but
yeah, there's no way
San Diego would never let that convention go.
No, and it's set up so well to get there, like the train and the downtown area. I can't imagine anywhere else really being able to accommodate. I've been to a lot of big conventions, but nothing like that, like not even close in terms of scale.
$80 to $100 million to the city.
Yeah,
every year.
And every Uber car that I was in, like they all said it's the biggest event, period.
Yeah.
They have tons of big events all the time, but nothing like that.
And there's no troublemakers. There's no riots at Comic-Con.
I mean, that's the thing, is it really is, a very pretty much peaceful event. I mean, I'm sure there was security there, but I didn't really see any.
Right.
So, it was just, if you try to do anything, you can't get out of there very quickly if you've tried.
Me and William walked by 2 police officers once, and I said, "Great costume" to him.
That's funny.
I was probably the 100th person to say that. But.
I'm sure. I feel like the event was, overall very successful. My biggest complaint was the line management. I thought it sucked. I think I told you that whenever we were to meet Jim Lee, it was this little booth. I mean, it's like if I'm sitting in a chair and you're sitting by a chair next to me, that's as big as the booth was. Right. And where we met Jim Lee, and it was right by, a major walkway where all the, like heritage auctions and all that stuff was. And so they pushed us out into the hallway. And as soon as we were out in the hallway, security comes running up to us and says, "You guys can't stand here." And then the organizer's like, "Well, we just got told to come out here by the other security guy because we couldn't stand there." So it's like, if you're going to have these bigger names, whether it's a celebrity or not, whether it's there were big names, whether it's, some of the big comic book artists or just authors. Like I think like Jamie Lee Curtis was there as an author. If you're going to have these bigger names, you need to have a better setup, to me, to organize the lines, because the lines were stupid. They would push us in the middle of the row, blocking traffic to try to keep other traffic flowing.
Yeah, they probably shouldn't even do it on the convention floor.
I don't really understand why they don't, like even when you go to a regular convention that has a lot of celebrities, you always see these separate areas for them. There's these holding pens where you kind of zigzag, kind of like a Disneyland line.
Well, they do that for TV celebrities up in the sales pavilion. There's a whole area with stanchions and people lined up for that sort of thing.
So why don't they do that for if you have a big, if you're bringing in a Jim Lee, that there's going to be a big line for him.
Yeah.
But you put him in this little rinky dink booth where there's no room. It just didn't make any sense whatsoever to me. And so that was my biggest nitpick. And I heard it from multiple people that especially there were some big comic book companies that, represented a ton of artists, and it's like a big giant booth. but they are all crammed together. Like, I mean, there's literally chair by chair by chair. And so if you have 10 people deep for this guy and 10 people deep for this guy, and there's not actually a real line, and it's people still going in and out between the aisles, there's nowhere for people to stand. I felt bad. There was a guy getting a commission done by an artist, really talented artist, and she was drawing, and I was standing there in line for Jock, and there was literally nowhere for me to go. And they're like, could you move this way? And I said, I would absolutely love to, but I physically can't. Like, I could not go anywhere. There was nowhere for me to go.
Yeah.
And to me, that was just ridiculous. Like, I just don't understand like why they can't try to space it out a little bit, or even use some of the convention, like some of the rooms upstairs, like where they have all of the panels.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know. See, Cece says, I saw one guy getting kicked out for not having a badge. Pretty sure he was an employee who gave his badge to someone. They cracked down on that.
Yeah, you're not going to get away with that at San Diego. You got to have your badge displayed.
And you have to scan in. So if you've never been to San Diego, I'm assuming that the thing you scan in on is a metal detector. I hope they are, because otherwise they didn't do anything. They didn't do bag checks or anything like that, which that makes me a little nervous.
No, there's no metal. All it detects is if you look at your badge, there's a little circle thing on the back of it. It's just doing attendance, I think.
So then that makes me nervous. Then there's not any sort of check. There's not a weapon check. There's nothing.
There's a weapon check if you're displaying a weapon.
But by who though? Like, there was nobody flagging anybody that I saw. Did you see anybody like going into each door? Like, there was just nothing.
They certainly do that at WonderCon. I guess I didn't see that in San Diego.
They do it at everywhere else I go. Everywhere else I go, there's metal detectors, there's bag checks, and there's weapon checks for like cosplayers, like the swords and stuff.
Right.
God, we were standing in there for 3.5 hours when Ledger and I were trying to get in that first night, and we were like in this back corridor somewhere. It was funny. Charles came around. He's like, I've been here every year and I've never even seen this hallway. Like it's like we were in the boonies somewhere. And it was interesting because they were bringing in, which ends up being the day that we did our meetup. They were doing like this LARPing with like the sword fights.
Yeah.
And that for like 2 hours straight, they just brought in swords, like metal swords, metal everything, like heavy crates of just weapons. And I'm like, like, does that have to get checked? Because like, but it wasn't like, it was just people with real metal swords. So it was interesting. But so that was a little concerning to me. But in the lines, those were my two biggest negatives, I guess. Do you have any negatives that you saw?
No, not really. It's I guess you have to accept it with that many people. But it seems funny that there's a lottery for parking, there's a lottery for hotels. There's a lottery to get a badge. There's a lottery for everything. But when they started doing a lottery for parking, I was like, my gosh, that's amazing.
My only advice is we ended up last year, I stayed downtown, which was great. And this year we stayed way away from downtown, more near SeaWorld. And there was it's not an island, but it's like a peninsula with like a old amusement park kind of roller coaster and stuff like that, which was great for the family. We actually really enjoyed that. We went down and played putt-putt multiple times, and the kids rode the roller coaster. So that was a lot of fun. But if anybody is doing that con, I really recommend trying to stay close. It really helps. Again, I spent a lot of money on Ubering. I Ubered everywhere.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say the crazy thing about the Uber, especially. So Friday night, I'm leaving, and it took me an hour and a half to get my Uber. I was canceled 12 times.
Oh my gosh.
So I would wait 17 minutes or whatever, or depending on how far away they were. And then as soon as they would get close to me, they would drop me. And then it would try to find another one, and then it would find another one. So I was dropped, 12 times. In an hour and a half. I was so frustrated. And so
there's different ways to do it. You can stay downtown, which is super expensive. I mean, those hotels are crazy expensive. But what they do is, before they do the hotel lottery thing, they do a early bird hotel sale. And that's like a dozen hotels, none of which are within walking distance of the convention center, but all of them are on the convention shuttle route. So you can get a hotel for $200 a night instead of $450 a night, and you're 3 miles away from the convention center. But you know what? The convention shuttle is pretty efficient. It's pretty good. And they run like every 15 minutes. And they run from really early in the morning to really late at night. It's not a bad way to go to not worry about a car at all and just do the convention shuttle every day.
They have the trains also, and I don't know where the trains. Well, I kind of do know where the trains go now because the next day after the con, so Saturday, our family ended up going to Torrey Pines. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's a famous golf course. My son Ledger's really into golf, and so he wanted to get some merch from there, and so we did that, and then we went down and saw the sea lions down in what's it called? La Jolla Cove. Yeah, La Jolla Cove.
Yeah.
And then we ate dinner down in La Jolla. Man, that area is really nice.
Mm-hmm. It is.
A lot of shopping and stuff. We just the drive home was really fun. It was really cool. Right. But then the next day we took the train from San Diego up to Anaheim. And
you did?
Yeah.
Not the Skyliner. What's it called?
Yeah, the Sea Liner.
Something like that. That's fun.
It was fun. It was a really fun deal. We took the train, but that's also where I saw the San Diego Comic-Con trolleys. So it's like, I guess that's where it goes, or that's where people go to get on it, I guess. And I was just curious if there were hotels along that route or if it stops at different places, because I was wondering like how people, there's a lot of people that take those trains and get off right there.
A couple of the hotels that I've been to that I reserved from that early bird period were right by the train. So yeah, some of them are.
Okay. Well, that would be easy too then to do something like that. That would be way easier than, again, just the waiting for the Uber. Like that was a nightmare. And last year I didn't have to worry about that other than I went to a dinner when I had an Uber. But last year I just walked my 3 or 4 blocks. I stayed, I think it was at the Residence Inn, which is like 2 or 3 blocks away. Mm-hmm. But it's just fun to be downtown in that area too. Like, just walking around the gas lamp district.
I love that area. It's
just a fun area. I said I walked into Subway and there was Mark Silvestri, which was funny. It's just like, there's just a neat atmosphere down there. A lot of places to eat outside and stuff like that.
Yep.
So it was a lot of fun. Exhausting. We walked a ton.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a lot of fun. Yeah, and then took the train up to Anaheim and did Disneyland for a few days.
Hotter than hell, wasn't it?
Oh my gosh, it was really, really hot. Like the whole week,
right?
Was pretty brutal. But we kind of discovered doing Disney for a few days. We stayed right across the street, literally across the street this year, and which was great. But we kind of found out that we would go for a little bit in the morning, and then we would kind of come back to the hotel for most of the afternoon.
Okay.
2 or 3 hours, take a nap, just kind of relax. And then we would go back in the evening, and we had way more success in the evening. We would go in at because it was open till midnight. So we would do like 7 to midnight.
Yeah.
And we rode everything we wanted. We did get the Genie Plus.
Right.
But I don't know. It's just so busy during the day and so hot that we just did the night, and it was great.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk about attendance being low this summer.
I mean, it was still like Space Mountain was still like a 50, 60 minute wait, Matterhorn 60-minute wait. Some of them, I mean, it was still, there were still waits, but like Pirates was mostly, 10 to 20 minutes, Haunted Mansion 10 to 20 minutes. So
yeah,
it wasn't too bad. Wasn't too bad. Let's see. Let me get to some of your questions. Sorry guys, we've been talking a lot. If you guys have questions or things we want to talk about, or you want to talk about, please let me know. Statue Collecting says, I haven't been to many cons, but the ones I've been to, the lines are always in the way of people walking around, and there's never enough room. And that's just the thing is, like, if you have a con that size, you have to expect that there's going to be a lot of people. But I just feel like if you know that there's going to be people specifically in line for an autograph or something like that, I just feel like they need to accommodate for that in the future, but maybe there just isn't room.
Right.
Let's see. Let me see if there's any other questions here.
Did you hear that Ant added a extra base for RoboCop?
Really?
Yeah, a street base.
Hold on. I have to comment about this. This is my friend Damon. He said Dragon's Lair at the old Silver Ball. I do remember that. I love that. That's awesome, Damon. That's very cool. Okay, sorry. RoboCop base. Tell us about it.
So he added a street base. So you have two bases that'll come with it, but only if you buy it directly from PCS.
So you get the regular base too?
Yeah, you get the one we saw in San Diego.
Okay.
Now you get a street base as well, which is smaller. So some people are not pleased because they didn't know that before they had pre-ordered from other sources.
Well, I wonder why he's doing that. Like, did people
He's
complain
trying to drive
about
traffic to his website.
Okay. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Again, Ant was talking to me about the coins and the things like that, and just, really trying to do some special things. And I didn't realize like the coins are like worth a lot of money. Like they're not just like plated. They're like pure whatever material they're doing. So I thought that was pretty neat.
Sure.
CC saying same with Disney World. The crowds are maybe a little bit lower. I'm going there in August as well. And so I guess we'll see. We'll see what happens. They did announce I'm a big fan of the Hatbox Ghost from Disneyland's version. And the crazy thing about going to the Haunted Mansion, that's one of my favorite rides. And this was the first time since 1992 I had gone to the regular Haunted Mansion at Disneyland. Because every time I've gone as an adult, it's always been the holiday overlay.
Yeah, it's about to revert back.
Yes, it is, in a matter of weeks. And so I was just really glad to have the chance. But they're going to put the Hatbox Ghost in the Endless Hallway at Disney World, and apparently has something to do with the movie. So I thought that was an interesting space because the ghosts don't materialize until after Madame Leota in that ride, and specifically says, her enchantment or whatever is how we're able to see the ghosts.
Okay.
And then allegedly, as you go past the attic scene, whenever you turn backwards, the story is that you fall to your death, and then you see all the ghosts in the graveyard. That's the story that's always been told. So it'll be interesting to see that.
When did they add the bride?
So the bride has always been in the ride. The bride, yes, the bride used to just be, she wasn't Constance Hatchaway, which is her name now. She was just like the Black Widow bride. She had the glowing heart that would beat. And if you go through the mansion, even to this day, you still hear that heartbeat. Even when you buy the Magic Band, it glows red. Whenever you go through the mansion, it has the heartbeat glow, which is really neat. But the original storyline was that and when the mansion first opened, it had the Hatbox Ghost, but it was only there for maybe a week, but the effect never worked. And so they couldn't get it dark enough, or the effect didn't work. And basically every time her heart beat, his head would switch back and forth between his head and the Hatbox.
Right.
And so the effect never worked. But she was always blue. She was this blue. It was just very strange. And then when they did the refurb on it and they changed it into projection, and they did a different storyline where, like in the Disneyland one, there's actually a wedding ring outside in the concrete, which is really cool. In the queue, there's more of a storyline.
I'm not aware of that. That's cool.
So it actually started. There was an old, as you used to exit. Have you been to the Florida Mansion or never?
Never been to Florida.
Okay, so whenever you would exit. Sorry, I'm going way off topic here, guys. But whenever you would exit, there was a bolt in the ground. Okay, it was a bolt a bolt and a ring. And what it used to be is they used to have like a stanchion, like a crowd control stanchion there with chain. Yeah. And they sawed it off at the base. And so it left what looked like a wedding ring. It was just a bolt sideways with a round ring. And so people for years would try to steal that. Like they would say, oh, it's the wedding ring. And it created its own story. And so that story became such a thing that whenever they redid the queue down there, they actually paved over the old one, and they actually put an actual ring in the new queue to solidify that she threw the ring out because she had been married so many times. But the Hatbox Ghost was, originally part of like one of her old husbands, or that she had murdered or something like that. So I'm just excited. I love the Hatbox Ghost. I've loved him since I was a kid. And so I'm excited that he's coming to the Florida mansion. Be pretty awesome.
Well, now there's a Hatbox Ghost sipper. Did you see that?
The day we leave, of course, there's a Hatbox sipper. My kids were like, oh, we would have wanted the sipper.
It's like $30-something for this plastic.
It is Disney.
Yeah.
One thing that we were like disappointed. So we always get Disney popcorn. We love popcorn. And so every time we go to Florida, we buy a bucket. You can refill your buckets. It's $2 or something to refill them. At Disneyland, you can buy the popcorn buckets all you want, but they do not do refills for the cheaper price. So that was kind of a bummer. But we had a great time. We ate at a few new places we had never been to.
So not to talk about Disney the whole time, but
I know. Well, we talked about San Diego for most of the time.
But if you're at Disneyland, what's up with that brick wall over by Starbucks? Because I've heard stories, and then I've heard that that's not true. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do, actually. That is called. So that is the test wall.
Is it really? Because I've heard some articles have said that's not true, and some said it is true.
Yes, whenever they were first, building, so that area going back there, that was actually going to be part of a whole nother land or another street, and I think it was going to be called maybe Liberty Street. I don't think it was going to be called Liberty Square, but it was going to connect kind of the backstage area to the front of Main Street. And so it was going to have a whole nother street right there. And I don't know exactly what happened with that, like why they didn't actually do it. And maybe just because of the logistics of the backstage area. Because like in Disney World, they actually open up the backstages on both sides as overflow. They've actually themed it kind of on the backside because when it gets busy, they'll open both of those up.
Sometimes at Disneyland.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if it has something to do with that logistically backstage, but that was when they were first doing Disneyland. That was a test wall to see, and they've just always left it.
For people who don't know what I'm talking about, it's a brick wall with a drinking fountain in it. And if you split down the middle of the drinking fountain to the left, all the bricks are uniform and perfect. And all the bricks to the right are different sizes and they're all weird. And it's completely split right down the middle. It looks really funny.
There's also an interesting little tidbit if you've never seen it. So on the corner where it's Casey's Corner in Disney World, I can't remember what it's called at Disneyland, but it's where the hot dogs are on the corner. Okay. It's that little restaurant at the very end of Main Street, and it's got red and white bulbs. But at one point, there's a bulb that's red and white because of the way it splits, because it's not even. So if you could that's another little fun thing to find at Disneyland.
There's so many things like that.
So many things, and it just has such a great history. But Jared Leto's playing the Hatbox Ghost in the new movie. I did hear about that. I think we might try to go tomorrow. I
saw it yesterday. It's good. It's not great, but it's good.
Okay. Did you like it better than the Eddie Murphy one?
I don't even remember. I saw the Eddie Murphy movie when it first came out, and I never saw it again. I don't even remember it.
Without any spoilers, does putting the Hatbox Ghost in the endless hallway make any sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
It does.
All right. Well, then that's why they're doing it then.
Yeah.
CC says, I remember trying to get the Hatbox Ghost tiki glass from. Oh, I wanted that so bad, CC. It was easier getting Todd McFarlane's signature at CSSDC. Oh, I tell you, some of those tiki things from Trader Sam's and stuff are just near impossible to get. You have to get a ticket. You have to get up, line up early. It's very, very crazy. I did not go on Splash Mountain because it is closed. They are currently making it into a Tiana themed ride from Princess and the Frog. And so they had cut the top off of the hill. And so they're working on it, and it's supposed to open up, I think, in 2024 sometime. The Florida one got started way earlier, so I would assume it'll be done quicker. But the way Disney does anything, they go real slow. Although there's the old French market they're changing that over to Tiana's place.
Yeah.
And they had it under Scrim. They're adding like 2 steamboat towers. And they just unveiled that the day after we left also. So they're making progress. That's where they sell the beignets and stuff like that, the mint juleps.
Yep.
And so
although I'm told that the beignets in Disney Walk are better than the ones inside Disneyland.
Oh, in City Walk there, the
Ralph Brennan
or Downtown Disney.
Yeah, Downtown Disney.
Yeah, it's at that.
I think it's Ralph Brennan's place.
Yeah, that's a Jazz Kitchen.
Yeah,
I think it's what it's called.
Yeah,
it's really weird. They just kind of like completely redid the front, but they de-themed it, so it doesn't really look like New Orleans anymore. It's just like a modern looking restaurant. It's really strange.
That's disappointing.
Yeah, Disney's been kind of doing that a lot lately, where they've kind of been making everything generic instead of. I mean, they've been making it modern. Like all the rooms at Disney World, they've been making real modern, but it doesn't have theme anymore. So I don't really get that at all, because that's why people go to Disney.
Yeah, right. Totally.
But I definitely did go on the Haunted Mansion multiple times for sure. Multiple times on Pirates. Those are my 2 favorites.
Yeah.
I love the Matterhorn. Love Space Mountain.
Wait. How can you, as tall as you are, how can you still have the Matterhorn?
I have no trouble with the Matterhorn with my height. What I do have trouble with is my back, my hips, my neck, my elbows, my shoulders.
I can't get in or out of that ride without a crowbar. It's crazy.
See, I really don't. I really have never had any trouble getting in and out of that one. I have more trouble getting in and out of the Space Mountain one because it's basically the exact same ride at Space Mountain in Florida. It's the same ride system. It's that same old clanky. Whereas Disneyland's is real smooth now because they completely redid it. They haven't done that in Florida. This is still the original ride, and it's the same ride mechanism as the Matterhorn. So it's very, very rough. Man, was it rough this time? I'm really sore still from that ride.
Yeah.
And we rode it probably, I think 5 times we rode it this trip. Mostly at night where it's really difficult to see the track. So but like what I do is I lean forward and I brace myself the entire time because it hurts so bad, but it's still so much fun. Still so much fun.
So changing completely, what's your next statue coming in?
Okay, so I believe my next one comes on Tuesday or Wednesday of next week, I think. And that is my Solomon Grundy.
Oh, wow.
Big piece. So he's coming.
What are you going to do with that? Are you going to review that or not?
I'm not going to review it, but it'll be in the background. It'll be part of my Batman surrounded by his villains with all my sideshow pieces. I also have the Killer Croc as well. So I'm not going to review them, but they will be. They'll be shown.
You know what I was thinking? What you could do, if you wanted to,
sure.
You could review it for your members.
Probably so.
And just not make it public. Yeah,
maybe I'll do that. I'll have to think about it. I'll have to see. But that would be something I could definitely do. So anyway, that he's coming. I also have that Batman Triumphant from Prime 1. I'm sure you guys saw it.
That's the tall one above
the
Penguin?
Tall one.
Yeah.
Did you saw the picture of him and Penguin next to the Punchline and Joker?
Yeah.
Holy crap, he's big.
Yeah.
Like he is, I mean, Punchline and Joker are big, but like this is really massive. It's going to be a really big piece. 2 boxes. I did get the shipping notification. It's really weird because it shows that it shipped from California last week, but it hasn't been picked up. So I don't know if that means like it's been shipped from Japan or China or wherever, and then once it gets to California, that's whenever it's picked up and shipped.
I wonder, could be, yeah.
Via FedEx.
You're getting Penguin too, right?
Getting Penguin too, but that one hasn't shipped. Well, it's shipped to somebody. Like somebody already has the prototype or the release, probably in Asia somewhere. But
isn't it kind of weird they're not shipping at the same time?
Well, they did the same thing with Punchline, and they did Punchline first and then Joker a couple months later. So I'm assuming that's probably what they'll do.
But that Batman piece is so clearly a part of a diorama.
Yeah.
I don't know. Seems weird to me.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe they just weren't quite done. And maybe, I don't know if maybe sometimes it has to do with the statues are done, but the packaging isn't, or what containers they can be on, that sort of thing. I don't know.
Right.
But those are the two that I've got shipping notifications on. I'll also show you a couple other things I got in if anybody cares. So I showed you guys this. This is a Lee Bermejo original art that I just picked up.
That's awesome.
Of the Joker. I'm still trying to get a commission from him, but I did hit him up yesterday and just said, "Hey, I got this. Can you confirm or deny that it's yours?" That it's and he said it is his. He doesn't remember when he did it, but it is an original that he did. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, sure.
And then this one I want to show you too. This one is from Ivan Reyes.
Oh, that's nice. Ooh, look at that.
So this is from Ra's al Ghul One Bad Day. And this is his original splash page with, you can see Ra's al Ghul there and Talia.
Wow. That's really cool.
The one that I really, really wanted had him kind of standing off to the side with his cape flowing, and it had just sold. And so this is the other one I really thought was good because it had like the temple and kind of the League of Shadows.
It's awesome.
So yeah, I got that piece as well, original. So
wow.
Basically, I mentioned earlier I need an intervention. Like I need to quit spending money. I've got to quit spending money. I just filmed my video about that really expensive thing that I told you that I got, but I'm not gonna spoil it here yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I need to quit. I did order that Ivy.
Which one? The pale or?
I ordered the flesh color.
So I ordered the green one just because of I had that whole FOMO thing going on. I think I prefer the skin one, but I'm not sure. But I think it's a really cool piece.
I don't think you can go wrong either way.
Yeah.
But my biggest thing is that so I have the current green one that I have, and I'll sell her if anybody's interested in picking that one up. I will have her up for sale. The sideshow one where she's looking over her shoulder, and I still love that one, but I don't need three because I also have the other one that was very limited. Was that 200 or 250? I can't remember. Yeah, 250 ES on the other one. And so I'm going to get both in, and I'm going to have to decide because I just don't feel like I need to keep both. Or maybe I will. I don't know. I don't know how it's going to go with the new Bat Bunker. Maybe I'll have her on my desk or something.
I'm in the exact same spot as you are.
So you have both.
I have the last one, and I have the other two on order.
Eesh. I just don't know. I don't know. They're all really good.
Yeah. Yeah. The last one that we both have, I guess I'm going to sell it, but I'm not sure because I really like that piece a lot.
I do too. And I'll keep her for, I don't know. I think that first sideshow one is supposed to ship this fall, isn't she? Like sometime pretty soon.
Well, even the new one is supposed to ship this fall.
Jeez, that's crazy.
It's funny. The skin version has an earlier ship date than the green version does. The green version's early next year. The skin version is supposed to be the end of this year.
So what do you think they do? Just print her all up and then save 200 or whatever out, and then, once they finish that first run, then they switch paint and do something different?
No idea. I don't know. It's weird.
Jeff, you mentioned that you were thinking about that green one. Did you like that one better than the one we saw earlier this year that sold out so quick?
Oh yeah, that one didn't do it for me.
That one's more like a classic, kind of like like a classic Ivy.
Dan really likes that one.
Yeah,
I think she looked good, but I thought the other one looked a little more villainy. With those claws and
yeah, very much so.
And the green one, the plant looked a little more, I don't know, vicious. The coloring on it looked a little better, especially on that part around that looked like the teeth.
Are you talking about like how both versions though had different paint? Did you see that?
Yeah.
Which I thought was really cool that they had. I mean, it wasn't just one was green and one wasn't. I like that they actually did different paint applications on the plant. I thought that was really neat. Cece says her eyes really stand out with the green, more contrast. I thought the green one was really, really well done. I just don't love green Ivy as much. Like I prefer a classic, just flesh colored Ivy, which is why I'm going to be selling my Prime 1 green version and getting the other one. Same thing, but I don't feel like anybody can go wrong, especially with that ES, because again, it's one of those things where even if you buy it, people are going to want it because it has such a low edition size.
Well, for 20 years, she had regular skin. It wasn't until, I think, 1988 in a miniseries called Black Orchid that Dave McKeon drew her with green skin.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. What year did you say?
I think it was 88.
Crazy. I feel like it was newer than that, or more recent than that, but I guess it's been a minute. Yeah,
that was a really cool miniseries.
I guess she was green in Hush, right?
Yeah,
she was green.
Yeah,
but
they weren't the first.
Yeah. Chris, is your current Sideshow Ivy the exclusive?
Does it have both portraits?
I can't remember.
You can't remember.
Scary portrait.
Yeah, I never liked the other portrait, so I never.
Well, which one do you like?
The one that's not like grinning or angry. I can't remember. I don't know. Let me see if I can.
With the hair down the side.
Yeah, is that the one where she's like more expressive?
Yeah, I guess she's less sultry and more evil in this one, I think.
Yeah, I do the sultry one.
But do you have both?
I don't remember. I'm gonna have to go through my extra parts. I don't know. I think it might just be the regular.
Well, if you order it on Sideshow, just check your Sideshow account.
Oh, yeah, I can do that.
Yeah.
Should we even go in and see how many orders I've had?
Lots, I'm sure.
From them? Because it does tell you on here, right? Okay. Do you want to take a guess?
No, I'm sure.
Do you think it's over 50?
Yes.
Do you think it's over 100?
No.
Yeah.
105.
Oh, there you go.
Let's see. I wonder how many pages back I have to go.
You don't.
Oh, there it is. Okay, there it is.
Search function.
I got. No, it doesn't say. I think I just got the regular.
Okay.
I think it's just the regular. So anyway, Ryan says I was lucky enough to get the green one, although I like the skin version too. Again, you can't go wrong either way. Sideshow just released a new statue. Just kidding. Who's the next rogue you think Sideshow will do? Well, I mean, obviously we are getting a new rogue because we are getting that Deathstroke, which is great. I think it looks really good. I'll probably get that one. It's way better than the original one. I thought was super undersized. What did you guys think initially of that one? Did you guys like that one at all from what you've seen?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it looked good. I'm not sure I need a Deathstroke in my collection, but yeah, it looked good.
It's for sure a very vibrant pop of color compared to some of the other villains. But obviously he's a new villain that we haven't had for a long time. Again, I'm just dumbfounded that we don't have a Riddler. I feel like that's like the no-brain character that they should do next.
So which version would it be?
To me, I think the most popular one is more of the jacket with the bowler hat, cane over his shoulder of some sort.
Right.
I just feel like I don't like the modern version of him. I don't think he looks very good. I can't see anybody doing the Batman version from this newer movie. Prime 1's
what
clearly
does the
passed
modern
on.
version look like?
I'm trying to think. Like sometimes he's been like bald. Looks more like Calendar Man in times. Like sometimes he has this really weird haircut. I just don't associate him as much with the Riddler. I like the jacket. Mm-hmm. That's just my personal preference for him. I don't see them doing like the Frank Gorshin from the 60s Batman. I don't see that like the tights. I don't see them doing that, or even the Jim Carrey. Yeah. I just feel like we've gone well beyond that for him at this point. But we'll see. Julia, I'm in the same boat. I have both Sideshow Ivies on order. Totally didn't expect that. I'm selling my flesh color Prime 1 pre-order in the group, hoping to find the right buyer for it. So why are you getting rid of the flesh color one? Just because you don't feel like you need all of them? See, I feel like Julia needs every poison ivy and just have a poison ivy collection. Don't you think? That would be pretty awesome. But
yeah, sure.
Obviously room is a priority or a luxury sometimes. Can you record a video of you moving? Who wants to see me sweating, just moving statues piece by piece? I guess I could do like a time lapse, like.
Now, is this on the same floor?
Yes. Like my bunker or my bat cave is like 6 steps that way.
Hmm.
You need a cart, a heavy duty cart.
The cart would be good. Like
yeah, just roll stuff.
So I don't have far to go, but I like, especially like my 3rd scale stuff. Like I'm gonna take it apart as much as I can. Like anything that might come off, like legs or hands or head sculpts. I usually take all that stuff off when I move it. Move the heavier part of the base. And the biggest problem is I don't know exactly where they're going to sit. You know, like I'm going to get them in there. I don't necessarily have a plan for. I mean, I kind of have a little bit of a plan. Speaking of that, I showed you guys the photo earlier. We went out and bought $367 worth of paint today.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So
you can buy a sketch with that.
I could. Yes, I could. Holy moly! But we bought ceiling paint and a really, really dark, like almost not quite black, but a really, really dark. It's like called like cyber something. Just to kind of test how dark I want to go on the fronts. But I'm going to do dark fronts, probably this color gray on the wall, and then matte black MDF tops, white interior. So that's the paint I bought. So we'll see. But I guess after Monday, I've got the clearance to go ahead and start painting.
Nice.
He's got a little bit of sanding to do this on Monday, and then we'll be ready to start painting. So that's pretty exciting.
Captain Trenchcoat has a good idea in the chat.
Oh, let's see. Where is it at? Record a video moving in fast forward playing the Benny. That would be pretty funny. That would be pretty good. $2 Canadian super chat from BoardCube 1 of 2. Your Tweeterhead Joker unboxing video saved me. Is that good or bad? Does that mean that you didn't like it and so you didn't buy it, or did you like it and bought it? Let me know. Sad no gun again. Yeah, you're not going to get any guns, guys. You're not going to ever get guns from Sideshow or any American company, as far as I'm going to say, unless something changes. Warner Brothers doesn't allow it.
You might get some from a Philippines company, though.
Yes, you might. Definitely any Asian market, I think that you are going to definitely get guns and weapons. However, in some cases, they will not be allowed to show it.
Right.
They'll be able to sell it, but not be able to show it.
So how about that JC showing all 7 of his Justice League before even one goes up for pre-order? How cool is that? That
was pretty incredible. I think that looks awesome. I also, again, we'll talk about it on Rogue's Gallery, but to see the Superman painted up, looked pretty great. Some people are still complaining about the thickness of the thighs I saw. Some people do not like the paint at all. I think it looks good.
Well, you know what he has to do, and I'm sure he's going to do it. I bet he's going to send that prototype to Art Statue Collector, who's going to put out a phenomenal video like he did for Iron Man.
Yep.
And people are going to feel a lot better about those concerns.
I think so too. I mean, Art's got such a good setup, and he's so close to all those guys that it's a great working relationship with him.
Yep.
To be able to to highlight those pieces. It's it's harder to get it to us over here. So I'm very excited about what they're going to do. I can't wait to see Batman painted up. I would imagine he probably won't be too far behind.
I'm loving those renders of Wonder Woman. I love it.
She's looking good. Again, I feel like you need to get all 3.
It's very possible, but I also think that people need to be, if you want that Wonder Woman, I would not delay once it goes up for pre-order. I actually had a conversation with him the other night, and he's determined to have pretty low edition sizes on these, like around 388. And I told him you could sell twice that of that Wonder Woman. And because 388 is what Captain America was. And that's a tough to find, highly sought after item now. Thor was double that. So I don't know. I think if you want that Wonder Woman, don't delay. Once it goes up, order it, or you're going to miss out.
Do you think by keeping it a low ES, it drums up excitement again? Kind of like what Ant's trying to do? Like
exactly what he told me. Jay said, I think it'll make the hobby exciting again. And he wants to keep it low. But I think there are going to be other statues in that line that might struggle to reach that 388 number.
Sure.
So if you can sell 600 or 800 of the Trinity to make up for those lower selling items, Martian Manhunter, Green Lantern, that sort of thing, that might help with that offset that lower sales on the other team members.
Yeah. Well, I just hope that line is very successful. I think it will be. Again, just kind of being able to see the entire lineup. And again, that wasn't even the villains. That was just the heroes, and it's going to be awesome.
Martian Manhunter in 1/3.
Yeah.
No one else is going to do that.
Yep. Hot Toys just released their Joker, and he comes with guns and knives. I don't know what to tell you other than the statues. They don't allow it. They allow it on kids' toys, but not on statues. Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that, BorQ102. I'm glad to hear that. I so want to be all in on the 1/3 JLA. No, just a matter of how much money and how much and when they will be released. I think Jay wants to kind of spread them out. From what it sounds like, do what 2 or 3 a year, 4 a year, maybe.
He wants to do 4 DC and 4 Marvel a year, but that's going to include some villains. It's going to include, for Marvel, include some Avengers and some X-Men. So it's hard to know exactly what he's going to do.
And this is just the beginning, so we'll kind of have to just kind of play it by ear and see what happens. Manufacturer scarcity does not make any hobby fun. Well, I think what we're saying is that whenever there's a low ES, it creates demand, it creates excitement, because then you're trying to track it down, you're trying to get it. Whereas the market has been so oversaturated that you can wait 10 years and still get a piece. It's like if you know that a piece is going to be very limited, I think that's what we're talking about here. Is like it can absolutely create frustration, but sure. The idea is to make it fun to collect again, to make it a desired piece, so to speak. Frederick, sorry for being late. Eating dinner soon. No problem. I'm sure Mr. Delaney wants to eat here as well.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I had a late lunch.
Where's the best place to get LBS stuff? There's lots of different places. We can obviously Spec is one of that we talk about a lot here on the channel. CC as well. It's just one of those things where it just depends. Some places are not able to get it because they don't have the license for this part of the world. So just go with the companies that you trust. Sometimes you have to wait, though, a long time for them. Are Dan and Eric at Terrific Con? No, Dan is actually packing up. Dan is making some changes to the manor. And so I don't know if I guess I don't know if he's announced that or not yet. But anyway, so he's busy. And Eric is on vacation. But he was able to get some commissions through his friend Billy. And so hopefully Eric is enjoying himself, probably very limited Wi-Fi where he is right now. Wolverine PF's still sitting at Sideshow. And that's the thing too, is if the low ES on these pieces from LBS, Jay doesn't have to worry about them sitting in a warehouse for 10 years.
Yeah.
And, doing sale after sale after sale and still not selling them. Chris, thank you again for your videos. Your Voldemort assembly really helped with the mystery support piece. That's great. I'm glad to hear that. It was kind of an odd piece to put on the backside. It was different. Jeff, are you still excited to get the LBS Hulk? I have the 3 bus coming soon and still excited.
I am very excited. It's going to be awesome when that thing arrives. I guess it's supposed to leave China around mid-August, so we'll see when it gets here.
So walk me through where you're putting that.
He's going on that black table right over there. I'm going to move Spock and Picard, and Grogu, and he's going to take up the whole table.
And so, what about the other pieces? Are they going to be near there?
What other pieces?
The other third scales. The other.
Oh, well, they're on the bottom of this here, so they won't be together, but they'll be nearby.
Yeah, they're close.
Yeah,
real close proximity. That'll be good. And then if you do the Justice League, are you going to do them across from you?
In front of me on the other side of the room. I've got my Billy bookcases now, and they're going to have to be replaced by something a little bit deeper.
And that's where your Sideshow pieces are?
Yeah.
Ugh, I wish we can get you a bigger space.
I do too. That'd be awesome. But, you know.
Is there anything above you? Can we go vertical?
I'm on the third floor here, so.
You got some attic space then, probably up there?
No, I live in California.
No attics.
There's no attics. There's no basements. There's nothing. And plus, I live at the beach. I have a whole bunch of sand beneath me. So.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, any other spaces you could like just claim as yours, like dining room, table, that sort of thing?
Not really.
Not really. Darn.
I think I just have to make difficult decisions as I've been doing up to now. And
yep.
So that's what I'm doing.
Yep. Captain Trenchcoat is saying new Robin from Tweeterhead. I have not heard of a Robin. We did finally get the cats out of the bag, so to speak. Tweeterhead did reveal the Catwoman, which is why I said it's the perfect companion. Mm-hmm. Which I thought was funny. I ran that by Chad first, and he said, "Yeah, it's great." So I went with it. But anyway, I think she'll be a really cool companion piece to him. I think I've seen the renders, and I think she'll be really great. So
I never saw him at the show.
So I ran into him at the show, but just once. It was just very, very brief. We talked for like 5 minutes, but it was what day was it? Friday. But he was in a rush to go somewhere else. So it is amazing that you could be at the same show and never see somebody.
Yeah.
Because it's just that crazy. What statue do you guys like the most? For me, it's that one. Tech 1000 for me. I love that statue. I don't know. Jeff Morris, do you have a favorite in your collection?
As of right now,
I was just going to say, that's Cap. He still looks so good in that corner.
Kind of a good place for him, I think.
I do too. It was. If you could find the right canvas or print, it'd be really kind of cool to put something Captain America behind him.
Yeah,
like an Alex Ross or something. It'd be kind of neat.
Remember that Alex Ross cap we saw at the show?
Oh yeah, that would be really cool. Something like that. Congratulations! You were the one that got the comics in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Congratulations on those. Those look great.
Oh, the other thing, probably my second favorite, is this guy.
Okay.
Captain America that you guys got me.
To
replace the one that broke.
Right.
Man, I'm glad that you still love him.
Well, he's my favorite.
That's
him
awesome.
and Batman. Yeah,
here they are.
Oh, there you go. Oh yeah.
Yeah, so good.
That's cool.
Alex Ross, and you bought those directly from Alex Ross.
Mm-hmm. I shipped them out really fast.
That's awesome.
I was surprised did you all see them selling comics at their booth, or would they do that somewhere else? Or
I didn't.
No, I didn't see that.
And I feel like in New York they were. But I didn't really see any of that at this booth. I don't know, it was strange. Like a lot of the things I saw last year in New York, they just didn't have as much this year. They didn't have as many prints and things like that at like some of the artist tables. But yeah, it was really strange they didn't have any books as far as I can see on sale.
That was what I wondered all around the booth and the video. I thought, well, where?
Yeah.
Because on his website there was a whole section of stuff.
But they also had the Bill Sienkiewicz thing, and I never even saw that, so I don't even know where that was. Did you see that, Jeff? Or did I just miss it completely?
Yeah, I didn't see
I
that.
didn't
that
notice that in the video.
It was. I didn't see it in the video. I mean, or whenever I was filming, I didn't even see where that was, and it was attached to that booth somehow. I just didn't see it. Maybe I missed something. That's the crazy thing is you could be there for days and still miss a million things.
Yeah, yeah.
I
I did
really
recently
like that 70s print that he had. I thought about that. The one.
Oh, with the Joker
all the villains
yes.
and
yep.
that
was
very
yep, very colorful. It was neat. It was neat to see that one in person. I had not seen that one before.
That's the first comic book Batmobile that I remember, because I remember in the comic book it didn't look anything like the Batman TV show Batmobile. As a kid, it was so different.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Chris, do you guys have any issue with your statues getting covered in dust, and what do you do about it? So yes, for sure. I use makeup brushes, or I also have a little air thing I did a review on, little air gun thing that I go through every once in a while in dust. I probably haven't done a really good job in the last month or so.
One of these guys.
Just like those, just makeup brushes. I just go to Walmart somewhere, buy
Amazon.
Yep. Yeah. Amazon. Yep. Just get you a little makeup brush kit, guys. It really helps with any of these fine statues. It won't scratch them or do anything bad to them.
And there's little ones for the nooks and crannies. So yeah,
they're great.
They work well.
CZ says I bought that. Purifier. Yeah, air purifier. That's a great idea. That's something I need to get for the bunker. I'm thinking about possibly putting in a DIY air conditioner type of thing where it goes outside. One thing I've been doing
is that Captain America, the one that you and I were looking at.
Oh, she did. That is fantastic. They took the one off that is cool, CC. Man, you did well at San Diego then, I think.
It looks like she bought it for somebody else though.
Oh, not for her?
For Mike.
I was going to say she's our art print girl, so for her to buy a canvas.
That was pretty.
That's really awesome. Jeff gave a great heritage auction booth tour. I could listen to him give out all that info all day. Yeah, I was going to say we were so lucky that he did that and just gave his incredible knowledge, because he just I could do the same. But just listening to you talk about the books and knowing your stuff, it's really fun to listen to.
I have a funny story about that. On Sunday morning, me and William got there really early, like an hour before the doors opened, and we're wandering the aisles. And we walked by the heritage booth, and one of the guys I know there, Barry, said, he walked over to me and he goes, Jeff, he says, yesterday was kind of a slow day for us. We were really bored, and we were looking at this promotional material put out by one of their competitors, which showed just a whole bunch of Golden Age comics, like you can only see parts of some covers. And on the very top, you could see like a yellow hand and the OMI of comics. And they're like, we spent the whole day trying to figure out what comic that is. And I looked at it and I said, that's Detective Comics #2.
Of course. Of course you knew.
I brought it up on my phone. I was like, oh yeah. It was really funny.
Have they offered to hire you at any point? Like, is that?
They haven't. No, but I haven't asked, but that'd be an interesting job.
I was going to say, if they did, would you consider that? Would you be like, yeah, it'd be pretty awesome? They're
based in Texas. I'm not sure I'd want to move to. They do have an office in Beverly Hills.
You could have a bigger room in Texas, I bet.
Yeah, you wouldn't be on the beach unless you. I mean, we can find you a beach.
That's true.
I go down to the beach all the time, but it's not the same as your beach. But it is a beach,
right?
And you can get to drive golf carts all around the town, which is a lot of fun where I go.
Yeah.
It's really hot there.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
And you're like, you'd still only be 12 hours from me. You can come and visit the bunker. Well, it depends on where you are. Are they in Dallas?
They're in Dallas.
Okay, that's an 8-hour drive.
But they're also in Beverly Hills, which is a 1-hour drive.
I was going to say, there you go. I think that'd be a cool job.
Might be.
Dang, Delaney, MAC ain't cheap for makeup brush. I don't have that. Mike Costa, but so I'm assuming she did not buy it for herself.
She bought it for him.
Oh, there you go. Okay. I sent my Detective Comics 1000 to CGC for the Jason Fabbox signing, hoping for a 9.8, and that Jason signed it in silver ink. I forgot to mark color preference when I sent it in. Well, hopefully, fingers crossed. I think that's going to be an awesome event.
I wonder if you could just call CGC and ask them to add that to your request.
You might be able to. I'm sure they could just do it internally.
Yeah.
It'd be cool. Well, I was going to do an hour tonight. Anything else you guys want to talk about? Again, it's just fun to hang out with you guys.
I didn't see what I've got coming in. Pretty quick, I got Captain Kirk from Darkside coming in.
Nice.
That's still listed as a July release on Sideshow. I'm getting it from Sideshow. And then they put up, a couple of days ago, they put up the unboxing for the new Captain Marvel. So that should be coming really soon, too.
And she looks great.
She looks really good. Yeah, I think the pose is really awesome. That flying pose where her feet are completely off the base. And her portrait, that production portrait, looks beautiful. Looks really good. Some people are disappointed there's no light-up feature on the base, but they never promised it for that statue. So
that particular piece I have a love-hate with, because I called her Star Girl on my Sideshow booth tour last year, and I had more comments than I've ever had like, dude, that is not Star Girl. I'm like, I know, like, it's like you do an all-day booth tour. It's like you're gonna make some mistakes here and there. Like, it's amazing that I knew who some of these characters were at all. But yeah, I get more hate for that one misstep that I did for that piece.
On my PCS booth tour this year, I called the bugs at Candyman's mouth flies instead of bees. And
oh, how dare you!
It was.
I caught hell for that
because I was like, those aren't flies.
that Delaney doesn't know anything about statues.
Yeah.
Jiminy Christmas. Yeah, I always get a kick out of that. Well, congratulations on that piece. I think it's going to be. She's beautiful.
Yeah, the portrait, spectacular. It's really, really nice.
Did you like that new Batman? You guys, did you like it?
I liked it. I'm not sure that I need a Gotham by Gaslight in my collection.
Yeah.
So, and it's Sideshow's Gotham by Gaslight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not like the Prime one is comic book. Like, it is comic accurate. It looks great.
Mm-hmm.
And I think another company did it, maybe Kotobukiya or somebody.
Kotobukiya did it.
Yeah, and they did it justice as well. Very similar.
Who do you think sculpted it? It's funny that Ghost Rider, Daniel Bell's listed, but he's the third sculptor on it.
So maybe he just did part of the anatomy, maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
And we found out that
the most surprising thing that I've ever seen was that didn't have a lot of.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that could have benefited from a light up for sure.
Yeah, it could have.
For that much money.
You know what I heard once? Sideshow sometimes intends to give a piece a light up, but doesn't advertise it at pre-order because they're not sure until they get into production whether it's going to be possible or not. And that's what happened with Galactus. I remember there was a surprise we got a light up. No one knew until the production piece was shown. So Storm, the base got a light up.
Oh, that base was really cool.
So who knows? Maybe Ghost Rider will have a light up, but they're just not sure until they get into the engineering phase whether they can actually make it work or not. And that might have happened with Captain Marvel. It may be that they figured out they wouldn't be able to make it work for some reason. But anyway.
That was interesting the way I wasn't quite sure how they were going to make her work till the video, how the
hands connect to the two streams. Yeah. It's going to be fun.
It will be. Well, I do like that Batman. I think the Batman's really cool. I do wish he was a little taller in terms of base because it's so low to the ground.
Yeah.
I thought that the cowl and the suit looked a little too slick for that age. Like you should see that stitching.
Yeah.
And it didn't look quite as period.
Right. I get that.
Yeah, I get that too. And we haven't seen a ton, and I want to see more photos and stuff of him.
Yeah.
Oh,
just watching in the chat also brought up that Evil Queen also has a light up on the mirror.
Oh,
that's not announced.
That's such a great piece too. Seeing that in person again, that was great. That
The new one,
whew, beautiful,
beautiful. I love the genie's hand on the base.
It's big. It's really, really colorful.
Yeah.
My favorite in that line is still the Red Riding Hood. I still feel like that. So good.
Yeah.
But that whole line's been great. Really is good.
Really pretty.
Julia says someone on Statue Forum suggested gently using a pencil eraser on that production scratch that I sent you the photo of, Chris. Does anyone have any experience with it? Not something I'm rushing to do. I've never tried anything with an eraser. I mean, I don't think it could probably hurt. I wouldn't just push very hard.
I would use the softest eraser you can find. I wouldn't use just a generic, pencil number 2. I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, really soft.
Go to an art store and pick up a really soft one.
She reached out to me the other day, and we were talking that it's got a scratch on the back, and she was wondering if she should send it in for a replacement, but she's worried about getting a worse one because that happens sometimes too. And I just said if it was something that was on the back and it didn't bother me, I would just maybe ask for a credit instead of doing the hassle of, because again, it's on the back side, you're not going to see it. And it was just a small scratch on it. Crap, I forgot what piece it is. Hold on. Go into.
You mean you don't remember every single email that every collector?
I wish I did. I do have. I probably have 40 or 50 conversations a week at least.
Yeah.
With collectors. I
felt so bad before the convention because collectors always email and say, "Can you get me this sketch? Can you get me that art print?" It's always like, "I'm sorry, there's not enough time to do that."
Yeah. I did it for Dan once, and that's just, again, it's just very difficult to do.
Yeah.
I don't think she ever actually said.
I was like tempted to ask one of y'all to. The Roosevelts had a booth there, and they had a Batman exclusive shirt where they're surfing. And I was like thinking, but I didn't ask because I didn't want to impose.
Well, next time, please impose. Okay, please. But I will say this. And first of all, Julia says Alice in Wonderland. So again, great piece. Sorry, I forgot which piece it was. So there were 2 booths that I walked by once, and I went back 3 or 4 times to find the booth. Roosevelt's was one of them. Could never find it again. And that one, I think maybe his name's Jason Edelman or something like that, where he does those like just eyes of characters.
Oh yeah, CC was talking about him.
Oh, he is fantastic. And I walked by the booth. I saw him in New York, and I really wanted to check him out because he had all the new Jaws ones. The Jaws is life size.
Oh,
so
wow.
The shark is life size, and then you have all the smaller ones that go with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I really wanted to see it. I couldn't find either one of those booths the second time. Like, that's how crazy this place is.
Did you use your Comic-Con app?
I didn't. And I didn't use the damn book. That was crazy just to try to get that your darn pin.
Yep.
You had to beg those poor people.
Which is now proudly on my backpack.
Darn right, it's on my backpack as well.
All right.
And I actually ordered 2 more. Their website had a couple other ones, their official site. So I ordered 2 more pins to put on my backpack because I thought those were kind of fun. I bought some Disney pins to put on there too while we were at Disneyland. So, but yeah, I couldn't find the Roosevelt because I really want to feel them. I want to feel one, and because you guys say how great they are and how soft they are. So
they
just order one.
So many. They had some. What's her name from the Star Wars about to have a new show? Ahsoka.
Yeah.
They had like several of those, and Mandalorian. They had one with Yoda from The Empire Strikes Back. The Batman one, they all look like that 70s Neil Adams art, but they're all on surfboards.
That's fun.
Interesting.
Batman, Robin, and Batgirl, Joker, Penguin, Riddler, and Catwoman.
Nice.
That's really cool. That's awesome. I'll have to check out the site. I should just order one and just do it. But again, I'm supposed to be on the spending freeze, right?
Not anything like what you think it is. It's like very lightweight and breathable.
There's a guy, sorry. There's a guy that's a Disney vlogger, and his name is Paging Mr. Morrow.
Yeah.
And we've actually met him at Hollywood Studios last year, and he's a really great guy. And he wears those shirts in all of his vlogs. And he actually now is like advertises for them. Like he models for them. So I just thought that was so neat. That somebody like him, it's like we do this stuff, and it's cool whenever it pays off like that. And
he gets them really early because
I bet
they'll be in videos and you haven't even seen them yet.
Yeah.
So.
He's a really nice guy, really cool guy if you watch this vlog. So again, I'll plug his channel, Paging Mr. Morrow, if you haven't, if you're a Disney fan. He's a great guy. He does a lot of like food reviews and stuff like that at the parks. My favorite thing is he bites into something really good and he like goes to slow motion in black and white. It's really funny. Like he's like, like nodding like it's so good. It's just he's really funny. So but yeah, I just need to bite the bullet and get one. Somebody just said the Shag booth also. Did you go through that, Jeff? Did you ever find that booth?
Oh yeah, I saw that booth.
I love that stuff. That's so good.
It's fun.
Just really cool. They do a lot of Disney stuff and kind of tiki lore type of thing,
Their
kind of
stuff
vintage.
Really cute.
Yeah, I love all that stuff too. It'd be really if we do this as potentially a kind of a Disney display room as well, putting some of our Disney stuff in here. I think it'd be cool to get a Shag canvas.
Yeah.
Like a big Haunted Mansion one or something. I really like the one they had on display there.
Right.
Well, anything else? Anything else you guys want to chat about, or you want to wrap it up?
I'm good.
Okay. Well, again, we have Rogues this coming Wednesday, guys. So definitely tune in. We got a lot to look at, a lot to talk about. I'm still scrambling, trying to put all the photos together. Again, blatant plug to stealing all of Jeff's photos from the con because he had really great stuff. And I'm sure there's stuff I'm missing, but hopefully I'll have a couple of days to put it back together before I go back to work. I go back to work on Wednesday already, so time to go back to work. Summer's over for me. But anyway, I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. Again, this was just fun to hang out and fun to reminisce about San Diego Comic-Con. Had a blast with you, sir. I'm so glad that we got to hang out again.
Next year.
I was going to say, hopefully next year we'll get to do it again. And hopefully maybe Sideshow will be there. I'm not going to hold my breath.
Kind of sounds like Tweeterhead will be.
We'll see. I mean, they said that they wanted to, put that money for the booth toward projects that are developing, which I thought was actually really cool.
Yeah.
Because otherwise they just, they do eat that cost. And they have to pay people to work the booth and everything like that.
Right.
So yeah, I would love to see them back. Hopefully they will be.
There'll be a PowerCon coming up pretty quick here.
Yeah. So again, I know they're going to have great stuff to show us. So again, hopefully next year we'll be able to do it all again. I'm looking forward to it. It'll be a really great time. So anyway, thanks everybody for joining us tonight. And again, join us Wednesday night for Rogues Gallery Live. Hopefully the whole crew will be here and we'll talk statues and whatever else is on our minds. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. Definitely check out Secret Sanctuary. Jeff has tremendous coverage from San Diego Comic-Con. If you haven't seen those videos, please do me a favor and check them out. And if you haven't watched all of my videos, please check them out as well. And if you've already watched them 5 times, watch them 5 more times. That'd be great. Helps us out tremendously here on the channel. Also hit the like button on both of our channels, if you will. And Jeff Morris, thank you as always for joining us. It's great to have you back, my friend.
It's good to be back, and I didn't have to work today, so it's easier to do.
Is that starting to wind up for you now that the summer's coming to close?
God, yes.
Okay, that's what we were hoping. I was hoping it'd be about done.
One more week. Well, I think school starts back here the 5th or 8th of August, and then they'll all go back. So it should calm down some.
Yeah. Well, we're glad to have you back, my friend, and glad it's winding down a little bit for you as well. So. Anyway, thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you on Wednesday for Rogues Gallery Live. Bye, everybody.
Good night, all.
Thanks for watching.